Welcome back, Devils and some Ranger fans. I'm here with a slime bucket that unfortunately I call a good friend. He has his Rempe fucking state building shirt on. Came here to watch the game and talk some shit, but what a treat we were given tonight by the New Jersey Devils and New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden before my beloved New Jersey Devils ultimately fell by a score of 4-3 in a pretty sloppy game. But, Chris, I mean, right off the bat, we didn't have to wait too long, did we?
It was a bloodbath. An absolute bloodbath to start.
Once the lineups are announced on TNT, they say MacDermid starting, Rempe starting. Everyone basically knows what this means. My phone is blowing up pregame. Cheers to everybody. Cheers to my Devils fans. Tonight's video is co-sponsored by High Noon, Corona Extra, and of course this 5-on-5 opening face-off line brawl brought to you by RWJ Barnabas Health as always. And what an absolute entertaining evening from the very beginning. We hear the opening lineups, the puck gets dropped, and a very theatrical, old-school hockey shit. That's what this was. This was old-school hockey shit. My heart is racing. I'm screaming at this guy, standing up, sweating, and the TNT broadcast, I have to say, was completely awful. They were super zoomed in on MacDermid and Rempe right from the beginning, and then they were casually like, this is a 5-on-5. And then, like, the camera later panned out, and, like, you couldn't really make heads or tails of what was going on amongst all the separate little fisticuffs going on. But MacDermid and Rempe did not disappoint. A very long tilt. And the other scraps, the way they squared up, were Lazar and VZ, Tierney and Trouba, Ball and Goodrow, and Marino and Miller, and there was just fist flying everywhere, equipment. I mean, what did you make of this? We were talking a lot about it leading up.
It was funny before this happened. You were talking about the 2012 line brawl, and then we get treated to this fucking bloodbath.
And the 2012, for those of you that don't know, I'll put a link in the description. Younger fans, or you weren't a Devils fan, they briefly mentioned it on the TNT broadcast in 2012. Devils Rangers, there was a 3-on-3 beautiful line brawl, but it was only 3-on-3. To see 5-on-5,
I don't think I've ever seen that in my life.
I don't think I have either, other than on like old school highlights from the 80s. Like in my time of being a fan since 1994, I have never seen a 5-on-5, like it wasn't like a bullshit skirmish where like guys wrestling. It was 5-on-5, separated, gloves dropped, squared up. Super rare in today's game. My heart. I'm still. The Devils lost a terrible game. Our season's been over, but I will say that the team showed fight tonight, and to me, I hate to look for moral victories, but tonight was the definition of a moral victory because this team has just been bloodied, battered, and beaten by teams all season long, including your scumbag Rempire State Building, and now the streak is alive for Rempe. By the way, 3 Devils Rangers games, 3 ejections. Completely hilarious. Tonight was the only one that wasn't from a cheap shot type situation, but the puck drops, and wow, man, I thought about going to the game tonight. I think I mentioned it to you from the last one, and a lot of your fellow Ranger fans are just such pieces of shit that in an environment like that, I think someone would try to hit me or touch me.
Yeah, you would have.
Someone would try to touch me, and then I'm gonna have to body somebody. So I'm not trying to go to MSG jail or anything like that. And I'm trying to stay free, I'm trying to stay a free man. So I'll watch it with this asshole from the comfort of my couch. But I was screaming at the top of my lungs. This is as old school as it gets. We may never see it again. And I got to go back and really, I've watched the little clips. They panned back out and showed the full melee for a couple seconds. But I really want to go and see if they have that camera angle for the duration of the whole thing. But I'm going to say my man Kurtis MacDermid gets the W. It wasn't as decisive as I thought, and I got to give the kid Rempe credit. I mean, what'd you think of his performance?
He stayed in there for a long time, didn't he?
And it was a long fight, too. I thought as the fight went on longer in time that it would favor MacDermid because he is the vet. He has pretty good cardio, and in the past he has come on pretty strong late in fights when other guys were gassing, and then he lands some crippling shots toward the end. So I definitely got to give it to Rempe for accepting the challenge. I think the whole hockey world, including both coaches and everyone, nationally televised game, everyone knew the backstory.
Coaches were fired up.
Was he going to, we'll get to that in a minute, was he going to man up or was he going to run? He basically told everybody pregame that it was going down. The lineups get put out. They're both starting, and it was just hockey theater, baby. and I'm a violent gentleman, so you guys know on this channel I'm all about the fisticuffs. Was looking forward to this for quite some time, and it didn't disappoint. It honestly exceeded expectations. I had said in a couple previous videos to the people on here that I would love to see a line brawl. I didn't think it'd be that likely, but I said I think there's a slight chance. And to me, that just shows that the guys, the Devils anyway, have been just fed up with all the bullshit. The season didn't go their way. And, after Rempe's antics the last couple games, Bastian's still out of the lineup, probably done for the season. Siegenthaler missed a lot of time. And so I think the team was just tired of just getting beat up with no pushback. And tonight, the New Jersey Devils lost on the scoreboard, but I think they showed as a group a lot of heart and a lot of fight that we wanted to see, all season long that was not there. And so I think I've been critical of the group, the Devils, for the whole season because of, how soft they were and getting beat up. And it's sad that it took something like Rempe running around and knocking guys out of the lineup for us to do anything. And I wish that we had showed even a quarter of these balls earlier in the season. The Devils have had guys cheap shotted left and right, and people just stand there and look, and no one stood up for nobody. But 5-on-5 to start the game.
Sucks that those guys got thrown out. Right?
Yeah, and also if we talk about this, it's so rare that this happens. You never I didn't realize the rule was basically the first guys to fight get to stay in the game, and then all the other fights that happened afterwards are get game misconducts because it's part of a bigger melee. I thought that was kind of dumb. The fights I thought were all close enough to where if the refs wanted to, they could have let all the guys stay in the game maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'd be curious to hear what experts, how they weigh in on that. But to eject 4 guys from each side, including 2 defensemen, and leave a depleted...
It looks like they were shocked too when
yeah, I don't think
they were all in the box huddled together, and then,
I don't think the players probably had any idea what the rule was either. I mean, I know I didn't for sure that in a situation like that. I just figured they'd let it go, but no, they gave everybody the gate. So 8 guys out, 2 defensemen per side, and now both Devils and Rangers have to play 59 minutes and 58 seconds of a hockey game with 4 defensemen.
Yeah.
And I actually don't know who that favored in the long run, and I don't know who I would have predicted it would favor in the beginning. I would say we have really young kids, so their cardio and their legs should be good. But in the end, I think shortening up the defensemen from 6 to 4 probably favored the Rangers, just because 2 of our kids are 20 years old and so inexperienced, and so that probably, not to make excuses, but that probably played into the Rangers' favor as well. But I definitely give MacDermid the slight edge in the fight. Rempe stood in there like a champ. He ate some big punches. MacDermid took a couple, but I definitely give it. I think MacDermid won pretty easily, but I thought he was going to destroy Rempe, to be honest, and he didn't. So
I'm glad they didn't fall to the ice, and then the ref would come over and stop it.
Oh no, I hate
prematurely,
that. No, this was an old school classic.
They let him go.
Stay upright, and I'd be curious on the time on that. It had to be well over a minute, and probably closer to a minute and a half. A lot of punches. They covered a lot of ground, I think, between but absolutely love to see it. Throwback hockey. Never in my wildest dreams did I think we would see 5-on-5. And, wow, what a way to start the game. And I think that took a lot out of the Devils physically and mentally. I think that was kind of, I guess, for more or less the mission of the Devils to go into the game was, time to take care of business and get some payback. So it seemed like we were kind of just in a daze after that. And the Rangers really took it to us. I mean, the Rangers obviously outplayed them for the whole game. But the Devils kind of seem a little shocked after it all went down. And I don't know. I don't think it was premeditated for the 5-on-5, to be honest. I think both coaches put guys out there that could handle themselves. And then I think people just got caught up in the moment because the last fight, the last 2, kind of happened a good amount of time after the main events. I have to go back and watch the tape. But there was a couple that broke out way on the tail end of the whole thing, and it was just everyone else is fighting, and then the 2 guys looked at each other and they're like, okay, I guess we're matched up here tonight, sir. Yeah. We'll do this dance. But yeah, 8 guys kicked out. Probably never see that again. Devils kind of went into a little bit of a shock, and at 9:22, the fucking bread man Panarin, Kakinen makes a save, juicy rebound out in front, pass right across to Panarin, wide open net, giving the Rangers the 1-0 lead at 9:22. Panarin's 45th. My God. When he was a free agent, I wanted the Devils to go after him too. I mean, I don't think he'd be a great fit on this team now because he is another one of these soft ballerina figure skater types, and that's what our whole team is made of. So now I wouldn't want him, but at the time I was like, damn, Panarin, like he had some big years in Chicago and stuff.
Undrafted.
That's wild.
Yeah.
1-0 lead, and then late in the period at 18:03, Lafreniere off a terrible Jonas Siegenthaler clearing attempt. Can't get it out. Rangers drive the net. Can't control the rebound. Sloppy play everywhere. Lafreniere right in front of the net puts it in easily, giving the Rangers the 2-0 lead after one. And at this point, this guy's talking mad shit. Mad shit.
That's what I do.
Talking so much shit. And at that point, I was already just so, I was like sweat. Like during the fight, I don't think the folks understand. I was
It
up.
took a lot out of you.
It took a lot out of me. I'm an old man. I could have gave myself a heart attack. I was screaming. I was probably beat red. I was pounding on the table, and it seemed to go on for a while. I mean, the whole thing probably to be a couple minutes, like 2 real minutes.
Yeah.
That's pretty long, to be at my age, just scream. I wanted to get out there on the ice and throw a couple, but 2-0 Rangers after one. At that point, I'm like, I'm gonna have to listen to this jerk off all night long. At least we won the fight, sort of, and the Devils did what they had to do. Our season's over, and so if we maybe could throw in another injury, and knock a Ranger out of the game at some point, I would have liked that. What am I missing? Oh, we're heading to the second period, but before we got ahead of ourselves, my man Dawson Mercer. Dawson Mercer, raise your hand if you had Dawson Mercer throwing down in this game. I don't think a single soul saw my man number 91 dropping the mitts and piecing somebody up. And Brendan Smith was the victim of a pretty borderline hit. Looked like a board.
It was a board. From
behind. He got a little crumpled. And to my shock and surprise, Dawson Mercer to the rescue comes flying in like a knight in shining armor and just starts throwing bombs. Shout out to Dawson fucking Mercer for the most unlikely scrap of the Devil season 23-24. Did not see that coming, and he showed some heart in there too. He's far from a fighter, and that was a nice little tilt as well.
It was awesome. I mean, we had it all tonight. I mean, it was a hockey game at the end of the day, right?
Our 6th fight in the first period. The penalty sheet is, I think it was 150 something, 160 minutes, just long lists like I called for. And God, it feels so good when something just, the hockey gods were on our side. The hockey fans in general won tonight. Things like this are just so, and it was just so necessary. And I'm just so glad that the refs or no bullshit got in the way. Like this was long overdue. The history of the sport kind of dictates this is what's going to happen. Not to this extent. I would have been happy with just the Rempe MacDermid scrap, but 4 other guys all simultaneously fighting just the cherry on the sundae. I was hoping Kakinen was going to come out and go after Shesterkin.
Oh, they were
a
lining
goalie
up,
fight.
Right?
That's like the only thing left.
That would have topped it, I think.
The Devils haven't had one of those in 25 years. I'll bring that up on a future video, Devils fans. A Devils goalie fight from back in my youth that I treasure forever. But I was hoping Kakinen was going to come out. For a minute, it looked like he might have been thinking about it, but I don't know if Shesterkin would have wanted that smoke. But that would have been, wow. That's the only way it could have improved. It was 5-on-5. If the goalies, or if Travis Green and Laviolette actually fought between the benches, or someone jumped over, they were drawing back and forth. Very reminiscent of this 2012 line brawl with Tortorella and DeBoer. I'll definitely putting a link to that in the description. Like I said, if you were a younger fan and weren't old enough to remember, or you weren't a hockey or Devils fan at the time, it was very reminiscent of tonight, but tonight topped it just because it's 5 guys. But this 2012 line brawl was beautiful. And Mike Rupp was involved. Oh, and also, Mike Rupp, former New Jersey Devil legend, Stanley Cup champ, Stanley Cup game-winning goal in Game 7, former New York Ranger. He was involved. He was a Ranger in that last line brawl, and they had him on the telecast a few minutes after, and Mike Rupp, the fucking fumble of the century, admits that he missed the opening face-off line brawl.
He was at the concession stand.
Getting fucking food. Mike Rupp, dude, you were part of the last one. You of all people. He's the one that went on TV and told everybody Kurtis MacDermid is the toughest man in the National. He's played for both teams. He knew it was at stake. He knew the energy. He knew everything. And somehow he valued getting food in that moment
over the hockey game.
And especially at that point, the starting lineups were announced, so it's not even like, oh, it might not happen right. Like, it was known.
I mean, out of all the times to get food, that was the worst time to go.
The absolute Mike Rupp, shame on you, bro. How do you go get food? But I digress. Ridiculous on your part, Mike Rupp. You'll just have to relive the clips, like I'll be watching tonight. You can relive it and check it out again later. But Devils go into the second period down 2-0. We're at 2:11. Mr. Jack Hughes on the move. Puts it right in the wheelhouse for Andre Palat. Rips a beautiful one-timer right past Shesterkin, cutting the Rangers lead to 2-1. And now at this point, this guy's getting quiet because now, you know, I already accepted the loss. After 2-0, I'm like, we got nothing to play for. The fight's done. Like, you know, I'm eating pizza, drinking beers, or, you know, shout out to High Noon. And I kind of conceded that it was over and was just listening to this kid talk shit, and I honestly just didn't even care. I was kind of immune to it. But Jack makes that beautiful play. It's 2-1 now. He gets real nervous. Now I can start getting fired up. I feed off his fear. I could see it in his face. He's like, oh, shit. Oh, shit, they're coming back.
Because I didn't want them to win and then have to sit here with the Devils win. That was the last thing I wanted.
I could see that.
I got my wish.
That makes sense. Yeah. Well,
I did.
2-1 at 2:11 from Palat. And then at 9:53, Brendan Smith strikes. Shesty, your boy Shesty, can't control the rebound. Loose puck. Jesper Bratt with a beautiful pass from behind the net. Feeds it right in front. Smith grabs the pass and just rips a nice shot upstairs. Tying the game at 2, and then at this point, this guy is shook. He is shook, boy. Now I'm getting real loud. You know, I have a couple more beverages in me. Now the game is tied. You blew a 2-0 lead. My boy MacDermid fed Rempe some shots, and now I'm on one. I'm feeling it a little bit at that point.
You were.
I was feeling it a little bit, and I just thought
you were getting a little too cocky.
The Devils title wave I thought was coming. You know, I really did. And sure enough, about a minute and a half later at 11:24, one of the nicest Devils plays of the season, I have to say. Jesper Bratt racing to a loose puck, jams on the brakes, stops on a dime, changes directions, and just shakes Adam Fox out of his fucking skates. Yeah. Fox goes this way, and Bratt's like, see it, peels off, takes a quick peek, looks back, and no-look pass on the backhand through the crease.
Beautiful.
He just did the little peek. Yeah. It reminded me of a very famous Devils goal, Eliash to Jason Arnott in double overtime to win the cup in Game 6 of the 2000 finals. Very reminiscent. He took a little peek, and he throws it across the crease. Beautiful no-look pass. Easy finish for Nico. And you could see Nico was very, very thankful for that basically free goal. And he basically gave Bratt the credit right away because that was just a phenomenal play. Adam Fox has been added to the Jesper Bratt highlight reel for this season for sure because he just got faked out of his fucking skates. Beautiful play by Bratt. Devils up 3-2, and that is how the second period ends. And at this point, this man is scared. He's very scared.
I wouldn't say I was scared. I mean, I was concerned. I was deeply concerned.
Scared, concerned.
Because I didn't want to sit right here and have this going.
But what do you even if we won and I abused you, like, dude, you're going to the fucking playoffs. Our season's over.
That is true too.
But we did take your soul last year in the games, a beautiful Game 7.
I know, and I was there at one of the games.
Shout out to all the Devils fans who were you know just part of that beautiful series when we knocked these dickheads out last year. I'll put a couple clips, or the links rather, in the description of this video for some of my favorite clips from last year's playoff. Include, you know, Rangers fans leaving in droves out of the arena in Game 7 when you lost. Yep. And then us taunting you outside of the arena. In a near Woodstock-like atmosphere. It was only missing bonfires and like the Volkswagen situation because
that was when a random girl gave me the finger at the end of the game. I was just so dejected. I was like, oh god, could it get any worse than this?
I mean, listen, the Rangers fans aren't known for being the classiest.
That is true.
But some of my favorite Game 7 videos from the channel will be in the description, so check that out. We own the Rangers soul. And Devils going into the third period 3-2. We know a Devils lead means absolutely jack shit these days. Whether it's 1 goal, 2, or sometimes even 3, we could make these leads disappear like David Copperfield, baby. The lead is here now, and boom, 3 minutes it could be gone. And sure enough, at 5:32, Luke Hughes goes to rip a shot. Stick explodes. Puck sits there, and Capo Caco is off to the races. Luke Hughes in hot pursuit with no stick just trying to stay with him stride for stride, and he pretty much does. And he tries to kind of lean in and do like a very soft kind of bitch check attempt at the end, and he kind of leans in and he's like, like he knew he had to do it. I think he could have had a much harder effort to try to blow him up, honestly, to knock him off the puck. But he did a little soft lean, and it wasn't enough to affect Kakko. He rips a shot past Kakkonen and ties the game up at 3. And at that point, we already know what time it is, guys. Devils gave up the tying goal in the third. It's only a matter of time before the dam breaks, and we take on the water. And at 15:03, number 1 Ranger scumbag, Chris Kreider on the power play, redirected in front. Nothing could be done. 4-3 Rangers. That is how the game ends. Another pathetic performance from my New Jersey Devils. I'd have to say, as a Ranger fan, you know that game should give you some cause for concern. I mean,
not really.
Not really.
No. Why? Why should it give me cause?
Blew a 2-0 lead. Shesterkin gave up 3 goals on 20 shots.
It happens.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see. I mean, only time will tell, right? See how they.
What's your realistic expectation for this Rangers team for the playoffs?
Listen, I mean, if they don't go at least to the Eastern Finals, then I think it's a waste.
So you think they go at least to the conference finals?
Of course.
What team are you most scared of in the East?
Oh, man. Tampa Bay.
And for good reason.
Yeah.
They've been there before, man.
And you know the Hurricanes too. I mean, they have our number.
They've had the Devils' number for years. Fuck the Hurricanes. What do you think about Toronto? I think Toronto's just going to get fucking bounced.
Toronto
I think they're going to get bounced.
They always fucking
I think they're going to get bounced. Fuck you, Steve Dangle. Fuck you, Dangle. I think the Leafs are getting bounced quickly. But game ends 4-3, and we go to the game stats. Shots on goal, the New Jersey Devils with 20, the New York Rangers with 41. Devils with the edge in the faceoff percentage, 55.7 to 44.3. Devils power play again sucking, going 0 for 3. Rangers go 1 for 3 on the power play. The New Jersey Devils with 88 penalty minutes, and the Rangers with 78. I guess that extra 10 must be the misconduct for Mercer. 15 hits apiece. I would have thought going into the game there would have been more than that, and even after the game, I would have thought maybe slightly more. But surprisingly, pretty much after the Mercer fight, it kind of cooled down. There wasn't a ton of hits. There was a couple little things here and there. But I think that did disappoint. It was like,
it wasn't really physical after that.
Not much. I mean, there was a couple little things here and there, but we had that opening banger 5-on-5, and then it kind of got quiet. And maybe a lot of that had to do with the fact that guys were logging huge minutes and probably fucking dying out there. Probably both guys on.
Would have been awesome for those guys to be in the game the whole time, right?
No, that is a shame. That is a shame.
And Rempe.
Yeah, if MacDermid and Rempe, I guess we have to look this up because I don't know if it actually starts when you drop the gloves or when the first punch is actually thrown. But either way, if they started fighting right away, all the other guys would have got booted, and we would have had Rempe and MacDermid remain in the lineup, and we could have got another couple bouts, which would have been awesome. Yeah, it is a shame. I guess a lot of guys I think will learn more about the rules of all that shit after tonight because, like I said, league-wide.
I had no idea.
League-wide, I don't remember. I don't think I've ever seen a 5-on-5.
I've never
simultaneous or within a couple seconds.
Always a first for something.
First for everything. Maybe I meet a nice girl tomorrow and you'll have your first.
Oh, that was really fucking great. Yeah.
Ba-dum.
Yeah.
Listen, it'll happen for you one day. I have faith.
Thanks, man.
And they made a movie about this.
Did they?
They did. Steve Carell's the 40-year-old virgin.
I knew you were going there, bro. I knew it.
Devils. Devils. Cheers, dickhead.
Cheers, man.
Devils lose a painful one. We're still, 88 penalty minutes for the Devils, 78 for the Rangers, 15 hits apiece, 12 block shots for the Devils, 13 for the Rangers. Devils with 3 giveaways, Rangers with 11 giveaways, Devils with 5 takeaways, Rangers with 6 takeaways. And, a lot of the stats were fairly close, but the one that's the most telling to me is the shots on goal. And the Rangers did pretty much carry the play for a lot of the game. We had our little buzz moments here and there, but overall, we got outshot outshot 2-1, 41 shots to 20. It's not easy to win hockey games like that. The fact that we actually had a lead going into the third period with this type of shot output is ridiculous. I mean, you have no business, especially when you're going against a world-class goalie like Shesterkin. Like, yeah, I mean, how bad of a night did he have? I mean, statistically for him, it was a terrible night. That's a, 320, so that's a 850 save percentage.
No,
yeah, that's terrible. That's not gonna get it done.
It's not gonna get it done in the playoffs.
That is not gonna get it done in the playoffs. Luckily for him, the New Jersey Devils will not be in the playoffs because we're your daddy. And you have any other thoughts on this fight night at MSG?
I guess we're gonna have to wait for next year for more Devils Rangers matchups, huh?
It is unfortunate, but I'm glad that it kind of now, I think, heading into next season kind of sets the tone that, the Devils aren't going to let you cheap shot our guys anymore after two of them got knocked out. It took that to...
I think we have a new kind of emphasis on the rivalry now.
I mean, I don't not that we really needed one. I think
last
year's playoff brought it there, and now it's just the next layer on a little gasoline on the fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, there's a lot of young guys on both of these teams that I think will be with the clubs for a while, and so I think you're going to see, the Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Luke Hughes, Timo, Jesper Bratt kind of core going up against the Capo Caco, Lafreniere.
How about the season he's had, huh? Lafreniere.
I mean,
come on. I was talking shit about Lafreniere last year.
A lot of these young kids. I mean, we saw it with Jack Hughes too. A lot of our fan base was killing Jack Hughes after his first season because
it takes time for these young guys.
It took time, and then he became a stud, and then hopefully he could gain some weight in the summer, and come back with a little nasty streak. But throw it out there in the comments. A lot of your fellow Ranger scum have already been commenting like, oh, yeah, Rempe didn't lose. Like, give me a break, man. I gave Rempe credit. He did way better than I thought he was going to, but he definitely lost the fight. I mean, there's no question about it.
How can you say he lost the fight? I mean,
did you see the shots he was eating?
MacDermid
was just holding him up.
I give you, he had a bloody lip at the end, but I mean, it wasn't like a sure win for
well, what is a sure win? I mean, you want the guy
knocking the fucking guy down.
Come on, bro, knocking the guy down on the ice.
That's a sure win.
Oh, wow. I mean, if that's the bar. My God. I mean, the guy's got to be unconscious.
No, not unconscious.
He's got to leave on a fucking stretcher.
Knock him down.
Knocking a guy down by way of a punch or like a tackle? Are you looking for a takedown?
Doesn't matter. I mean,
I hate takedowns. You said it yourself. Takedowns is the biggest bitch move there is.
It is, but I mean, wouldn't you say that the guy that takes the other guy down wins the fight?
Not necessarily.
Well,
I've seen plenty of scraps where a guy was eating a bunch of shots, losing the fight.
It makes the appearance.
And then he's like, fuck it. No, I don't even think he was trying to make the appearance. He just wanted the bludgeoning to stop. And they just go for the tackle, and they're like, I don't want to eat punches anymore. Yeah. I will definitely break it down frame by frame. I mean, if I can get a steady camera, I'm sure they'll be coming out.
No, you got a good point.
We switched to White Claw. And I would like to see better video of the side scraps. They had that quick pan out. But TNT's camera crew really, really dropped the ball on that. I mean, they were showcasing the MacDermid Rempe main event, and we had tons of side scraps going on.
We didn't even know at the time.
I think he was casually like, this is a 5-on-5 fight. And I'm like, what? I'm already going fucking crazy. And it's like super zoomed in on MacDermid Rempe. And he's like, yeah, this is a 5-on-5 fight. I'm like, are we going to show it? And then, like, eventually, by the time they pan out, I think, like, one of them was already over. And a couple of them were underway, but it was really shoddy camera work. Then they, on the playback, had like the zoomed out angle, but I need to go back and get the definitive look.
That's when you can see VC
at all the side scraps.
The other guy.
But what a fucking night at the Garden, man.
It was awesome.
I'm a little upset I didn't go. I really wanted to go, and like I said, it's just, in a situation like this, in that type of environment, people drinking and stuff, like, I'm not trying to start fights. I don't like to start fights. I don't need problems. I'm an old man. But, sometimes you can't avoid problems.
Especially at MSG.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about maybe just going with you and a couple other goofball Rangers. Maybe people wouldn't have been as inclined. But, I'm not trying to hurt people at the Garden, bro.
Yeah.
Being in the enemy's house, I'm going to clearly get the cuffs, even if someone else starts with me.
That's true, too.
Dude, how about, was it a Tampa Bay fan? When the Ranger guy knocked him the fuck out? What was that? Was that playoffs?
That was, I don't know if it was playoffs or not, but the guy got fucking
has to be one of the most vicious stadium arena
was,
knockouts of all time. I feel like I died.
I
thought he was dead.
Some of the people thought, like, at the
dude, he just got rocked.
They was like, he's dead. He's dead. He was just knocked out.
I'll have to come bring the sheet and just put it over.
Oh my God.
Devils lose 4-3. They show some heart, and in closing, we didn't get the result we wanted on the scoreboard, but they showed me they have way more heart than I thought. It's just a shame that it took this long and this late in the season to show any signs of fight, when all season long we could have done this, and it's a shame they just had to get pushed to the brink. But a lot of guys definitely earned a Purple Heart in my book just for going to war, and the boys went out on the battlefield together tonight, and we went to war, and it is what it is. I've been calling for something like this in a team morale kind of something to cling on to for the future moment, and they delivered, and props to Laviolette and the Rangers for not being pussies about it. And it was, that was just old school hockey 101. Do you have anything else?
I think you covered it, man. That was a fucking great game.
Wow, we've been on here for a while. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the fight. Anything else? Any other observations? What do you think about my man Mike Rupp missing the fucking fight to get food? Damn, Mike Rupp, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, Mike? You got to have all that stuff taken care of way in advance. Missing the fight for food.
It's Bush League.
It's Bush League. We did the game stats. I'm trying to think, was there anything else? Nah, I think that was it. There was a pretty funny, that montage. I'll put that up maybe later. Like, right before the game, they had the montage of, like, Rempe on the bench, like, before warm-ups. Like, it was like a Rocky montage of him, like, doing moves and, like, taping. I don't know.
He was ready.
He was.
My man was ready.
He was ready. Fucking Rempire, the Rempire fucking State Building.
There we go, man.
The fucking Rempire State Building answers the bell, does his duty as a hockey player and a man. Great scrap with MacDermid, 4 other scraps, and what a fucking night from MSG. And I'll be back tomorrow with something. I don't know. Wow, I'm just jacked up from this. I don't know if I'm ready to go to bed tonight, honestly.
I'm wired.
I'm going to be watching NHL tonight, all the clips online, the post-game interviews. But shame on the refs for throwing everybody out. I think that was bullshit. That was Bush League, and you just kind of affected the game more than you needed to. I would have loved to see another couple scraps, but we got 5 at once, and then the Dawson Mercer. 6 scraps. Can't ask for much more. And I think that's all we got for you folks. Let me know in the comments anything about the fights. If you want to talk about any of the actual goals or whatever, you could do that too. But the theme of tonight was fight night at Madison Square Garden. And I will talk to you all soon. I can't wait. You wait till you see some of the Ranger dickheads that come on here and what they write.
Well, I'll be looking in the comments for them. I'll be looking.
You won't have to go too far. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.